What if I told you you could retire not in 30 years or even 20 years, but in just 10 years from today? I know you're probably thinking, here we go, another crypto bro talking rubbish. But let me ask you something, honestly. What if you're wrong? What if Bitcoin combined with a real disciplined plan could actually give you that freedom? In this video, I'm going to show you real data, real case studies, and a simple plan you can follow to potentially retire by 2035 or even sooner. We'll start with a safe, low risk approach, then we'll walk through the high risk, high reward strategy using Bitcoin that could accelerate your retirement dramatically. And finally, I'll give you practical action steps to get you started today, no matter what your income is. Chapter 1, The Truth About Retirement. Why most people fail. Let's start with the harsh reality. Most people think retirement is all about how much you earn. That's what society teaches us. Get a better job, earn more money, buy more stuff, and someday you'll retire happy. But earning more has nothing to do with retiring early if you're spending all your money. Look at Mike Tyson in the 90s. He earned over $400 million, but by 2003 he was bankrupt. Why? Because it's not just about how much you actually earn, it's about how much you keep and invest wisely. It's all about financial education. Over my 24 years of investing, I've met hundreds of people full of regrets. Contracts in the late 50s, early 60s, who earned a fortune working overseas. I remember working in Oman back in 2020. A colleague, 60 years old, told me I could have easily saved 1,000 per month between 40 and 60, but never did. If he'd have invested that £1,000 every month in the S&P 500, averaging just 10% annually, which is in line with historical averages, he would have had over 750,000 today. That's financial freedom for most people. Every pound you don't spend is a pound that can work for you. Let me ask you an honest question. Are you living like a consumer or an investor? Chapter 2, the low risk strategy, index investing. Now let's look at a simple low risk strategy to retire comfortably. Let's imagine you're 30 years old today and your goal is to retire at 50. That's in 20 years, way ahead of the UK national average. You look at your expenses and realise you're spending £200 a month on takeaways, £60 on Sky and another £240 on random subscriptions or convenience costs. You cut these out. All of a sudden you've freed up £500 every single month. Now, instead of letting that money disappear, you invest it into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Why? Because it's stress-free, diversified and backed by over 100 years of market data. Historically, the S&P 500 has returned around 10% per year on average. So what happens if you stick to this plan for 20 years? Well, by the age 50, you'll have around 379,000 invested. Is it enough to retire? Well, that depends on your lifestyle, but it's a huge chunk of freedom money that could let you work part-time, take a career break, or pivot to something you truly love. And the best part, this is the boring, safe route. No extreme risks, no daily market stress, just consistent investing in the world's biggest companies. By the way, nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. The full disclaimer can be found below in the description. Chapter 3, the high risk strategy, Bitcoin investing. What if you're willing to take more risk for potentially life-changing rewards? Enter Bitcoin. Now, back in 2023, I had a friend who sold his rental property here in the UK. Bitcoin was around $30,000 at the time. Now, we thought about buying one Bitcoin, but said, I'll wait for it to drop below $20,000. It never did. When Bitcoin hit 50,000, he was devastated. That's the mistake people make, focusing on the short-term price rather than the long-term returns. Historically, Bitcoin has averaged 80% annualized returns over the last 10 years. Let's be conservative and assume only 50% average returns over the next 10 years. What happens if you invest £500 every month for 10 years at a 50% annual return? Putting the numbers into a compound interest calculator, you'd end up with over £1.5 million, enough to give most people complete financial freedom within 10 years. This is based on historical returns and the opinions of experts like Cathie Wood and Raoul Pal. Many experts believe the price for one Bitcoin will hit $1 million within 10 years. But of course, Bitcoin is volatile. Prices could crash by 50% or double overnight. The question is, do you want to play it safe, or are you willing to take the risk for potentially massive rewards? Comment below. Are you team Bitcoin, or is it too risky for you? Are you team index investing? Chapter 4, practical strategies to invest more each month. £500 a month might sound impossible at the minute, I get it. But here are 10 practical ways to save and invest more starting this week. 1. Track every penny for 30 days. Awareness changes behaviour. This type of habit is hard but 100% worth it. 2. Make it a game. Set challenges. Beat last month's spending. 3. Switch supermarkets or bills. We saved £400 a month doing this alone. 4. Move or downsize. Housing costs are your biggest drain. Again, not easy, but again, very much worth it if it means early financial freedom. 5. Ditch the expensive car. Switch to something cheap or go car free. 6. Cut expenses, then increase income, upskill, promote, pivot. 7. Ask for a raise. Loyalty won't make you rich, courage will. 8. Take overtime or a second job. Funnel extra income directly into investments. 9. Create digital products, courses, ebooks, templates. Earn while you sleep. 10. Use your network. Your net worth is your network. Seek opportunities. You don't need to do them all once, but the more you implement, the faster you'll build your financial freedom fund. This might get me some hate, but if you can be asked with financial education, you will eventually realize how important it is to invest into assets. Then you do what you need to do and you find the spare money to invest. Chapter 5. Calculate your freedom number. The 4% rule explained deeply. So how do you know when you're actually free? Here's where the 4% rule comes in. Multiply your annual expenses by 25. For example, if you want to live on £40,000 per year, you need £1 million invested. Why? Because withdrawn 4% annually from 1 million gives you 40,000 per year, indefinitely, adjusted for inflation. Spend 20,000 a year, you only need £500,000. Spend 80,000 a year, you need 2 million. You get the point. If you want a more detailed explanation of what the 4% rule is and how to use it, see below for a recent video. This number is your target, your light at the end of the tunnel. What is your freedom number? Calculate it now and drop it in the comments. Chapter 6. Your first action steps, starting today. Feeling fried up or overwhelmed? Both are normal. But here's how to start today. Step 1. Pick your target retirement date. Be specific. Is it 2035, 2040? Write it down. Step 2. Calculate your current savings rate. What percent of your income are you actually saving at the minute? Then ask yourself, how far are you from your freedom number? And which of the 10 tips will you implement this week? You don't have to do everything, as I've said, all at once, but the more you do, the sooner you'll reach your goals. Now, for me personally, I want financial freedom within the next 3 years. A 10-year goal I set myself 7 years ago when I first started taking financial education seriously. Am I on course? Well, at the moment, yes. In fact, I'm confident I'll hit my goal in 2026 with my aggressive, high-risk approach to investing in property, index funds, individual stocks, and crypto. Now, if you want to learn exactly how to invest, you know the info you weren't given at school, you can join my free investing community on School. See below for more info. Summary. Early retirement isn't just for millionaires or finance geeks. It's for you if you want it badly enough. If you're up for the 10-year retirement challenge, comment below with your savings rate, your freedom number, and whether you're team index funds or team Bitcoin or something else. You might have your own business, for example. The message I want to tell as many people as possible is that early retirement is very possible, but you need financial education and you need to put the work in. If you got value from this video, I'm going to ask a little further. Please, can you send this video to someone who is sick of their job and wants and probably needs early retirement in their life?